Oh, this time will be different. All of those what ifs are agonizing. The bigger this gap, the more stress we feel. Pay attention to your visceral reactions. The magic starts to happen.
Hi friends, I'm Peter Nasonov and I'm here to help you live your best life. This video is the third part of this series where we're talking about why we don't have what we want and what to do about it. In part one, we learned that we don't have what we want simply because we don't take the steps necessary to achieve desired result. In part two, we learned that we don't take those necessary steps because we don't act based on what we want. We act based on what we expect. Problem is that what we want and what we expect are often totally different, and the bigger this gap, the more stress we feel. So in today's video, I'll share my strategy on how to resolve this conflict between wanting and expecting, how to eliminate stress and encourage action. Let's get right into it. The first step is awareness. Always. If you're gonna get just this one step out of the whole video, you're gonna take that first step towards conscious living, which is the key to creating the life you love. When you're aware, you have the ability to not give into the automatic thinking or your expectations and plan for a different outcome. Once you catch yourself acting in the absence of the light of awareness, recognize the opportunity to plan for success. When you do, you only have two options to eliminate that gap between desires and expectations. Option one, you can drop the desire. Just stop wanting. I know, easier said than done, but I'm pretty sure you know how it feels to suppress your desire or to give up what you want. We humans always label things and attach stories. In this case, your story would look something like this. I didn't really want it that bad, or it wasn't worth the effort, or I don't have the time, or it's not the right time. Whatever, you know your own favorite excuses. That seemingly is the easy way out. Just let go, give up, stop wanting. I say seemingly because if your desire is deep and authentic, in the long run, I seriously doubt the agony of living with this what if. What if I gave him or her a chance? What if I tried applying for that job? What if I moved to that city or that country? All of those what ifs are agonizing, and I seriously doubt that they are easier to live than actually pushing yourself and working towards your success. Only give up on vain desires. Don't you dare giving up on your authentic calling. Which brings us to the second option. If you can't drop your desires, right, they're here, you can change your expectations to match up with your desires. Now what you want and what you expect are the same. You've closed the gap, you've eliminated the stress, and now you're happy. Let's talk about how we're gonna do it. I'll share with you my process. First, when you think about something, notice how it makes you feel. Pay attention to your visceral reactions. Do you feel expansive or contracted? Expansion would feel like your shoulders and chest open up. You feel lit up and excited. There is a pull, a forward motion, a sense of lightness and relief. Despite you may still sense some fear, there is no problem here. It's a good fear, the kind that comes with all important decisions. Strap yourself in and go for it. Contraction, on the other hand, is a problem. You'll almost feel like you're shrinking. There is a sense of dread, not to confuse with resistance. You may feel tightness in your chest or heaviness in your stomach, or more likely, just a sense of unease. That's obviously a no-go, because those are all signs that you have some negative expectations about the situation. Obviously, what you need to do is to change them. Decide on what you would like to happen instead and come up with positive expectations. Before we move on, let's summarize how we work with expectations or limiting beliefs. First, you become aware of them. Second, you figure out whether they're positive and supportive or negative, destructive, and hold you back. Third, replace your negative expectations with the positive ones. And lastly, come up with a plan of action. Once you create that positive expectation, ask yourself, what do I need to do to make it happen? If it's not a one-shot thing, ideally, you would need to write it down, because that's where the magic is. And coincidentally, that's the most common mistake people make. They have a bunch of thoughts and ideas floating around in their head and nothing on paper. Here's what happens when you sit down and write it out. You force yourself to verbalize your thoughts. It's particularly beneficial when you have that general sense of unease, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Guess what? If you stay in your head, you'll never figure it out. Writing things down is the best remedy in this situation. And second, when you see the plan for how to get what you want, your assessment of the situation begins to shift. You start seeing possibilities, and that's where shift happens. Let's consider a common example so you understand better how to go about it. Let's say you want to get fit. Often when we are in a state of excitement, we can take that initial step, like signing up for the gym and even showing up a few times. But then what happens when we don't see quick results? We lose motivation to work out consistently. And why is that? Because if we're brutally honest with ourselves, deep down, we don't believe or we don't have the expectation that we'll be able to sustain the amount of work that's necessary to create our dream body. We know how much effort it will require, and we doubt that we'll be able to stick with it. Now, many factors can contribute to that. Maybe you've done it in the past and failed. Maybe everyone around you is doubtful and unsupportive and they say, oh, you'll never stick with it. Maybe your schedule is so hectic and busy that you don't see how you can find time to be consistent at the gym. And the list of maybes goes on. The problem here is precisely that, because it's a maybe. We can speculate why you feel like that, but there is no firm knowing and understanding of your subconscious beliefs. And until you sit down and think this through, nothing is going to change, because it takes deep analysis and self-reflection to reveal the beliefs you're operating on. Those beliefs affect your expectations and inform the actions that you take or don't take. Let's say you wrote it down and came to a conclusion that your limiting beliefs are rooted in the absence of support from your peers or even from your family. Then you reframed it into a positive expectation, because this time you aren't doing it alone. You're doing it with a friend who also acts as an accountability partner. Or you expect to succeed because this time you're getting married and you want to look stunning in your wedding dress. That's often a huge motivator. Or you expect to succeed because this time you joined a specifically designed program at your gym, as opposed to doing it all alone. See, it helps to support positive expectations with evidence. Not just saying, oh, this time will be different. When you have evidence, you believe it more and you don't feel like you're faking it. You may still have some doubts on the back of your mind, and that's okay. But guess what? The magic starts to happen. Every successful step that you take towards that plan starts to shift your expectations. You show up at the gym once, twice, 5 times, and every time you come back, you start feeling like it's becoming your new normal. Before you know it, your expectations will shift and reflect your new norm. And that's how you get fit. Now, after hearing my solution, let me ask you this. Do you expect it to work for you? If not, then you simply have to follow the system to analyze, reveal, and reframe your beliefs. And that's how you break free from the past that's holding you back and create possibilities for your future. I think this is a great moment to wrap up this video. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, then sign up for the 7-day challenge on my website at peternasonov.com. I'll leave the link in the description below. You'll learn about the past, how it affects you, and how to approach it to empower yourself for success. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!